7 Powerful Secrets. Positive Thinking. Introduction. You've heard of positive thinking, you may have even read about it. Maybe you've begun to recognize that it's time to change who you are and become a more positive person. Well, I'm glad you did. Throughout this book, you will learn some deep concepts about positive thinking. You'll be taking in a lot of information, be prepared to learn and practice some valuable tools to help you banish the negative and welcome the positive. Are you ready? First secret, the mind-body connection. Did you know that thought is an action? Think about that for a moment. Thinking is an action. The mind is the place where thought occurs. I guess you rarely consider the act of thinking. It's just something that happens while you're going about your daily life. With our busy lives, not many of us take the time to sit and think. Our hectic lives result in thinking that is more instinctive and rarely planned. You may find this hard to believe, but before you said good morning to a family member, the thought of those words existed in your mind. Even before the words were spoken. Besides, without thinking, we can't move our bodies. For example, think about the process of raising your hand. No, don't think about it, go ahead and raise your hand. Do you know what is happening? Well, it is a complicated process in which the muscle contracts, causing the hand to move. A nerve impulse causes the muscle to contract. An action in the brain sends the impulse along the nerve. The brain, nerve and muscle work together like the parts of a machine our body would have. The machine that is our body would not have any action, the power of the mind. What about willpower? Can we affect change in our life by using our willpower? You can try to get your hand up as much as you want. However, unless the mind thinks something completely different from the thought of the will, the hand remains still. Have you ever gone on a diet? Willpower alone probably didn't help you lose weight, you had to change the way you thought about food and exercise. Body action is the result of mental action. What does all this have to do with positive thinking? Be patient, we're getting there. From time to time, we are not in control of our mind. The forces of the outside world make the mind act. What happens if a child runs out in front of your car? A frightening thought. I'm sure you'd instinctively hit the brakes. If your mind hadn't taken action, you would have run into the child. There would be no bodily action, the hitting of the brakes, without the action of the mind. Although many external events influence the mind is the power behind everything else to move the body. Without the mind, there would be no movement. We can prove this profound statement by thinking of the moment when there is no mind, as in death. The body cannot move. The nerves, muscles, tendons and bones are parts of the machine that the mind uses. By themselves, any part of the machine, our body, is as helpless as a lever when a person does not grab it. Why stress the connection between mind and body? Well, if thinking has such an impact on what we do, then it is important to think the right thoughts. Think about your own life for a moment. Do you feel energized and ready to face the world when your mind is full of negativity? Do you feel productive and satisfied? I guess you answered no. The simple truth is positive thoughts will give you better results than negative ones. Positive thinkers discover constructive results in all aspects of their lives, business, relationships, and personal satisfaction. If you employ the power of positive thinking, you are likely to conjure up pleasant feelings and productive images. More energy and happiness may emanate, which will have a positive impact on your daily life. You may exude more energy and happiness, which will have a positive impact on your daily life and constructive outcomes in all aspects of your life. Remember, the combination of brain, nerves, muscles, ligaments, bones, these form a wonderful machine that the mind builds and uses. You need to make sure your mind is full of positive thoughts to benefit from the power of positive thinking. Thinking the right thoughts, positive thoughts have powerful impacts on all areas of our lives. We will learn more about these impacts as we go along. In Secret 2, we will learn about emotions and how they affect our well-being. Some things may surprise you. Second secret, emotions and their effect on well-being. In Secret 1, we learned that the mind and the body are strongly connected. Because of that connection, we learned that it is vitally important to think the right thoughts. It turns out that those thoughts also affect our emotions. And the vast array of emotions we experience daily has a profound impact on our well-being. Our daily emotions can range from satisfaction to anger, from jealousy to rage, from joy to sadness. Each of these emotions has an impact. Every emotion affects the body. I wonder if you have ever been in a situation where it was inappropriate to laugh, let's say during a serious presentation. Did something overtake you and you found yourself bursting out laughing at the most inopportune moment? Well, if that scenario had happened to you, you would have experienced unintended action. An unintended action is basically something your body does that you didn't want it to do. A person doesn't usually shed tears because they choose to. Tears are not welcome and typically follow an effort to suppress them. Why do tears flow? Well, when the mind is filled with sadness or distress, an unintentional action causes increased activity in the tear glands. The fluid is produced in excessive quantity and the eyes overflow. Even if you did not intend to cry, the thought that preceded the crying caused it to happen. A means to make it happen. An example of an unintentional action. When the sad thoughts subside, the tears no longer flow and the facial muscles return to normal. What are some of the unintended actions of other emotions? Have you noticed the physical changes your body goes through when you are angry? Does your heart beat faster? Does your blood pressure rise? Does your face blush or turn pale? What about when you are scared? Do you wake up in a cold sweat? Do you experience severe muscle tension? Do you clench your teeth? All of the bodily reactions described are unintentional and occur when you are experiencing emotions such as fear or anger. Some of these reactions, such as increased blood pressure, may have a detrimental effect on your health. Very different bodily changes occur if the thinking is of a humorous, witty or happy nature. The muscles of the chest, throat, and face react through laughter and smiling to show their pleasure. You feel the beneficial flow of more oxygen to your brain. Your muscles and your breath move in response to the actions of your mind, even though it was not your intention to move them. And the laughter and smile you experience will not stop until the thought that produced the reaction ceases. The laughter and smile can even be renewed by the renewal of that thought. I am sure you have found yourself smiling at your desk when you remember an incident or a funny joke. Just the thought of that pleasant memory can make you smile again. We have shown that the physiological changes your body undergoes when faced with different emotions are numerous. When you think positively, your body also reacts positively. Negative thoughts such as fear, sadness, and anger cause physiological reactions that have a powerful negative impact on the body. The mind-body connection can be so strong that some people, when they hear bad news, react by having serious digestion problems. Others may experience a debilitating headache. With the obvious distress the body experiences in reaction to negative thoughts or feelings, it becomes even more important to employ positive thinking techniques. With positive thinking, your body experiences stress in a positive way, your body relieving reactions such as laughter and smiling instead. React positively. With negative thinking, your body experiences stress-inducing reactions such as increased blood pressure and adrenaline. Positive thinking isn't all rosy. What I mean is that positive thinking does not mean going around pretending that everything in life is perfect. Positive thinkers are optimistic and realistic in the face of everyday adversity. They look for the positive in people, situations, and experiences. In contrast, negative thinkers focus on the bad and may even have stress-related health problems. Negative thinkers may also find that people become less tolerant of their negativity and do everything possible to avoid being around them. Want to know what you can do? The next time you find yourself responding negatively to a situation or experience, think about the physiological impact the negative reaction is having on your body. Think about the stress on your heart. Feel your blood pressure rise. Recognize that your negative response is having a detrimental effect on your body. Perhaps by thinking about all the negative impacts that your discordant thinking is having on your body and your health, it will help you on your way to positive thinking. What have we learned? Thinking affects our emotions. The physiology of our body changes when we experience different emotions. Negative thinking causes negative emotions. Causes physiological changes with a negative impact on our body. Positive thinking causes positive emotions. Causes physiological changes with a positive impact on our body. Are you confused about how to control your negative thoughts so that you can begin to see the positive impacts on your body? Then stay tuned for Secret 3, where we learn about how to control our thoughts. Third secret, how to control your thinking. So far we have learned that there is an incredibly strong connection between our minds and our bodies. So strong, in fact, that our thinking impacts our emotions. Our bodies have strong physiological responses to whatever emotions we're experiencing. Negative emotions such as fear and anger cause negative bodily actions such as increased blood pressure. Positive emotions like peace and happiness cause positive bodily responses like increased flow of oxygen to the brain. What awaits Secret 3? Here you will learn how to control your thinking so you can have those positive physiological responses in your body instead of the negative ones. Not to mention all the other wonderful benefits of positive thinking. How do you apply the power of positive thinking in your own life? The answer is simple. Stop thinking negative thoughts. Easier said than done, right? Of course, I won't leave you hanging. We will learn about the importance of controlling your positive thoughts and emotions to eliminate those negative thoughts. One way to control your thinking is to stop the bloodshed. Change the flow of your negative thoughts to the brain and think about harmonious thoughts. Surprisingly, parents or caregivers of children regularly apply this principle to stop negative thinking. Distraction. For example, when a child is upset because another child has taken a toy from him, the parent or caregiver will try to draw the child's attention away from the negative situation. If the child sits there and stares at the other child who took the toy away from him or her, the crying will continue. However, if that child is distracted to start thinking about something else, for example, the cute puppy playing in the yard, he has gone from having negative thoughts about the lost toy to having positive thoughts about the cute puppy. The requirement to drop your negative thoughts, to let go like a stone in your hand, can be difficult. But I want to point out that dropping the negative thought requires much less effort in the long run than maintaining the negativity. Controlling your thinking is one of the primary actions of your mind. Like all actions, it can be difficult to describe. You can ask someone to give you a book, but it is impossible to instruct that person on how to move his or her hand. There are 3 mental actions that are essential to the training of your thought control. How to think. How to stop thinking any particular thought that may be in your mind. How to change the thought from one thought to another. While you are reading this book, you may be thinking, it won't be that easy to stop thinking my negative thoughts. Well, early scholars of positive thinking research disagreed. Edward Carpenter stated profoundly in the early 20th century, if a pebble in our boot torments us, we drive it out. We take off our boot and shake it off. And once the matter is fairly well understood, it is as easy to expel an intrusive and unpleasant thought from the mind as it is to shake a pebble from the shoe, and until a man can do that, there is no point in talking about his ancestry over nature and everything else. He is a mere slave and prey to the bat-winged ghosts that fit in the corridors of his own brain. When a negative thought slips into your mind, you have the power to choose to banish the negative thought, and when a negative thought appears, try to think of a more uplifting one. The thought creeps into your mind. Try this mental exercise to help you stop the negative thought. You have the power to banish them. We all experience the frustrations of driving. In fact, driving is considered one of the most intense daily stressors we experience. If you find yourself reacting disapprovingly to a fellow driver and feel those negative thoughts seeping in, try to change the image in your mind. Think of something that will calm you down or lift your spirits. Maybe it's your favorite vacation spot. Maybe it's the smile on a young child's face. Whatever it is, shift your focus to that thought instead of the frustrating driver. I hope that by doing this mental exercise, you will realize that you have let go of the fleeting frustration and have continued to drive with a much calmer and more peaceful outlook. If you really want to experience the power of positive thought, you need to practice seriously. You will need to persevere. If you do everything you can to stop negative thinking in the way that your own knowledge and experience suggest, you will learn the lessons of positive thinking. You may learn more about yourself than you thought possible. The serious practitioner of positive thinking will gain an understanding and power that will enable him to do what seemed impossible at first. In this secret, we demonstrate a couple of tools to control our thinking. We will continue the journey in secret for where we show that our reactions to unplanned external events will be very different when we practice the power of positive thinking. 4th secret, how to react to external events in your life. Since we are in the middle of our journey, this is a good time to reflect on some of the secrets we have learned as we travel along the path of self-development. Secret 1, the mind and the body are so connected that we need to make sure we have positive thoughts to experience a positive impact on the body. Secret 2, our body has strong physiological responses to the emotions we are experiencing. If we choose to think positively, we will experience positive emotions. If we experience positive emotions, our body receives the positive health benefits rather than the negative health impacts such as stress and high blood pressure. Secret 3, you can choose to banish negative thoughts. When negative thoughts invade your mind, remember to use the visualization technique and take your mind to a quieter, more peaceful place. Let's move on to Secret 4, where you will discover the right way to react to external events in your life. It is a fact of life that you will experience events in your life that were not planned or desired. How you react to these events says a great deal about the kind of person you are. That is a concept that must be understood. An example will probably help you internalize this concept. Perhaps you are camping in the woods and discover that a wild bear is running toward a small child at a neighboring campground. Several people witness the situation. A person with a vivid imagination imagines all the horrors that can happen and is paralyzed by fear. Another person thinks only of himself and his danger and runs away to escape the danger. Another faints instantly from fear. His fainting arises from his mental anxiety and only adds to the confusion of the situation. One woman was so engrossed in setting up her tent that she did not see the wild bear, so she would not have been disturbed by it, nor would she have taken any action related to it. Another, seeing the exact same situation of the bear attack, pending that others are experiencing, is triggered by a completely different line of thought. Remember that very loud noises distract bears from their course of action. So bang on the lids of the pots and scream at the top of your lungs, making the bear stop paying attention to the child. With this reaction, another adult may snatch the child and run away to safety. In the example described, we have an external incident of the bear's attack, each person's thought and subsequent bodily action. Each action in the illustration was connected to the same incident, however the resulting actions were from the person's thought and not from the actual incident of the bear's attack. What is the relevance between our illustration of the bear attack and positive thinking? Well, the example shows that it is not the incident you are experiencing that causes your actions, it is the thought about the incident that causes it. Therefore, when you are faced with a negative situation in your life, such as the loss of your job, your resulting actions will depend on how you think about your circumstances. If you think that losing your job means that you are worthless and cannot work, then your relationship actions will be negative. You may sit on the couch for days watching meaningless soap operas. Your actions are having a negative impact on your life and are causing you to regress. What if you choose to be positive? What would happen then? What would happen if you focused on the positive side of losing your job? Perhaps you think about that now that you have the opportunity to explore a new career that has always intrigued you, then your resulting actions will be completely different. You can do research to improve your education. Think that you will have plenty of time to learn more about your desired field. Your actions are having a positive or negative situation. Your impact on our life is moving you forward. The resulting actions depend on how you think about your circumstances. These examples illustrate that in each case, it is not the external incident, but your own thought that directs, controls, and decides what your course of action will be. Therefore, it is obvious then that thinking about situations and experiences in a positive way will cause you to take a positive course of action. Do you think you can begin to apply this concept in your own life? Why not start today? The next time you are faced with an adverse experience, consciously choose to think positively. You may be surprised at how different you will act as a result. I know it can be difficult to apply positive thinking every day. Think of this book as your motivation to keep going. Consider Norman Vincent Peale's famous quote from the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. He states, motivation is like nutrition. It must be taken daily and in healthy doses to maintain it. That's it. In Secret 4 of our journey to positive thinking, we learned how important it is to react to unplanned adverse events in a positive way. Our positive thinking will keep us on track and ensure that our reaction to the event is positive. I was wondering, would you like to be more productive in all aspects of your life? Stupid question, right? We all want to be more productive. Well, Secret 5 uncovers the truth behind the fact that positive thinkers are people who are more productive. Fifth secret, enjoy a productive life with positive thoughts. I hope you've started to apply some of the ideas from our first 4 secrets. There's no reason to wait. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll see the results. Among the wells of wisdom today is a small, old quote that never seems to show its age: a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. In our last secret, you learned to react to unplanned events in your life. Instead of seeing an unexpected event as a negative, you will have a feeling of accomplishment if you try to see the positive instead. For example, try to focus on the opportunity that underlies the unplanned event. Most successful men have not achieved their distinction because they have been presented with some new talent or opportunity. They have developed the opportunity that was within their grasp. Bruce Barton, American author. There are many interesting books that show that positive thinkers are some of the most successful leaders of our time. These leaders do not let obstacles such as unplanned external events stand in their way. They reach out to their surroundings with a positive attitude and rise up to success. Prolonged grief, fear, and anger can shorten your life. Anxiety, doubt, and despair can cripple our productivity. Bitterness, greed, lust, jealousy, and envy can cause successful people to commit illicit and criminal acts. Conversely, contentment, peace, and satisfaction can produce beneficial effects. In fact, they can prolong your life. I have read many studies on positive and negative thoughts and their impact on the body and actions. Here is an interesting experiment, conducted in the early 1900s, that I thought I would share with you. This study was at the forefront of demonstrating the relationship between productivity and positive negative thoughts. Imagine who came up with this study. A study has shown that hair grows more slowly when a person is subjected to several months of anxiety. Now, in the study, a professor designed a regulated spring to maintain a uniform degree of resistance and to record the number of times it was pressed. The test subjects had to press the spring with their finger until, due to exhaustion, the finger refused to act. This part of the test determined the average number of times the spring was pressed, under normal circumstances, before exhaustion occurred. Days later, the same subject was asked to think about some subject that caused dissonant thoughts, such as what was the saddest thing that had happened to him or to the person he hated the most. After a long period of time thinking about the subject, so that his mind would be filled with inharmonious thoughts, he was asked to press the spring. Can you guess what happened? You are right, the average number of depressions performed under the negative mental conditions was much less than that of ordinary circumstances. What happened when the subject thought about such things as love, peace, and happiness? You guessed right again, the number of times the spring was pressed was much higher than the number performed under ordinary circumstances. It is hard to believe that an experiment performed so long ago has the same relevance today. Think about your own life for a second. Have you noticed that you have much less physical or mental exhaustion after a pleasant day at work than one that is occupied in unpleasant or stressful situations? I know I have. I'm always motivated to do more at night after a nice day at work. Before I applied positive thinking techniques in my own life, I was more likely to want to sit on the couch after a stressful and exhausting day. The professor who conducted the experiment we just outlined had a theory that the physical or mental exhaustion that follows a stressful day is caused by the absurd feelings of hurry, tension, and anxiety. In other words, uncertainty, anxiety, worry, and fear break a person down. But if the mind is filled with thoughts of calm, security, courage, and confidence, then a person can be much more productive. How can a decades-old experiment be applied to the vastly changed world of the 21st century? Well, deep down you have to make sure you keep a positive thought, no matter what you are putting up with in your workday. I'd like you to try this mental exercise the next time a coworker or a client does something that would normally make you angry. Instead of thinking about how you got it wrong, try thinking about something positive, like the next vacation or the lovely thing your child said to you the other day. Highlight the negativity that is draining you and pass it on to your positive thoughts. It is important to remember that having a positive attitude and using your positive thinking is essential. Positive thinking will help you stay focused, re-energize your body, and improve your productivity. In short, positive thinking influences your productivity. Do you know how to look for the good in others and in experiences? If not, secret number 6 will help you learn how. Sixth secret, looking for the good. In Secret 5, we discovered that the application of positive thinking has the added benefit of making us more productive. Plus, if you're like most people, you're living an accelerated life and would find that being more productive is very beneficial. To help you continue on your path to positive thinking, it's time to learn to look for the good, and that's what Secret 6 is all about. Your mother may have told you to always try to see the good in people. And as much as we hate to admit that our mothers are always right, in this case, she was right. Seeking the good in others is probably something you were taught to do in your early education. Elementary school teachers have the advantage of helping children learn to keep an open mind about others and experiences. Now, as an adult, you like the idea, but you may have trouble applying this principle in your daily life. It turns out that looking for the good in people and experiences is a great way to turn your thoughts from the negative into positive, more harmonious thoughts. Remember, apply this idea to both people and experiences. Consider that even the people you may consider as evil, looking for the lazy or insignificant, have some good qualities and have done some good deeds. Also consider that even experiences that you consider to be out of time from places you would rather not be, may have some good underlying qualities. It is generally accepted that there was never a person who did not have some good qualities or did some good deeds. There has never been an experience that did not have some good in it, or that was not closely related to it. The pursuit of good, if it is diligent and faithful, does not have to be in vain. When you find the good, remember to treasure what you have achieved. When your habit of seeking the good in others is fully established, negative thoughts will rarely intrude. Let us illustrate the theory of finding the good in experiences with an example. A young woman living on a busy street in Buenos Aires complained that she could not sleep because the noises of the busy city street outside her house disturbed her. A colleague of hers suggested that every noise, whatever it might be, had a musical note to it and she should try to find that note in each of the various sounds she heard. She decided to give it a try. She gave up all attempts to fall asleep and set about looking for the musical note among the city street noises. Not surprisingly, he slept soundly all night. Why could he find the deep sleep that had eluded him for so long? The explanation is that she had previously concentrated on the discordant characteristics of the noises she heard, and by thinking about these thoughts, she expanded her awareness of the negative, and remained awake. In her search for the musical notes, she lost sight of the disturbing negative conditions, and she fell asleep because the discordance of the noises no longer disturbed her. She let her mind concentrate and got the desired result. The search for the good in others and in experiences is one of the best methods to replace negative thinking with positive and consistent thinking. One piece of advice: don't limit your attempt to seek the good just in the moment. What I mean is that when you have a negative experience or with a negative person, don't go, "Oh yes, I have to look for the good in people and experiences." Instead, consider looking for the good as a life's work, constantly working to eliminate negative thoughts. When you are able to change your thinking so that you always look for the good, you will discover that your life will shine brighter and brighter. Not just for you, but also for those around you: family, associates, co-workers, employees and friends. The obvious fact is that people are inclined and want to spend time with others who are looking for the good in people and experiences. Perhaps you have someone in your life right now who exudes the lifestyle of positive thinking. Others are likely to comment on how positive they are, that no matter what happens, they always see the positive side. They may comment on your positive attitude and that it is nice to be around you and that not one negative word comes out of your mouth. I hope you will reflect on this secret the next time you feel a negative thought about a particular person or experience. If you stop and reflect on what is good about that person or experience, I promise you will put that negative thought aside. That ends secret 6. In the final secret, we will take a moment to reflect on learning our first 6 secrets and discuss how this transformation to positive thinking isn't always easy. Recognizing that you will have some challenges on your journey can help you stay on course to become a positive thinker. However, nothing that is good in life is easy, is it? I thought this quote from Sir James M. Barrie was appropriate for today's topic. The secret of happiness is not in doing what you like, but in liking what you do. 7th secret: it's not always easy. Here we are at the end of our journey. Time has flown by. I trust you have been able to take some of the ideas we have learned so far and apply them to your own life. Let us take the time to reflect on what we have learned during our 6 previous stops. We started again at secret 1 and learned that the mind and the body are so interconnected that to ensure a healthy body, we must think the right thoughts, positive thoughts. That led us to secret 2, which explained that our bodies have very strong physiological responses to our emotions. In fact, if we have positive thoughts, we will benefit from the body's positive reactions. Of course, the opposite is also true. Secret 3 showed you that you could choose to banish your negative thoughts. You can learn to control your thinking. It takes perseverance and practice. Our next secret 4 demonstrated how important it is to have a positive reaction to unplanned external events. We discovered that a positive response would put you on a positive track. In secret 5, you learned how positive thinking can actually make you more productive. I'm sure you will reap great benefits in both your personal and professional life by being more productive. Secret 6 focused on looking for the good in others and in experiences. Practicing this theory can help you banish negative thoughts from your life forever. Without further ado, let's start with secret 7, where we'll talk about how this journey to becoming a positive thinker won't always be easy. Have you ever noticed that the best achievements in your life were not always easy? Maybe you had to work long hours to get that promotion that catapulted you into your dream job. Maybe you spent the first year of your child's life existing with very little sleep. Maybe you even sacrificed an exciting youth to get stellar grades in college or university. I bet when you look back on your accomplishments, your memories of the difficulties of getting there have long since faded. The same goes for the acquisition of the power of positive thinking. It's not always easy. An established habit of any kind is not broken by a few weak ones. Persistence and determined effort will overcome even the most dominant habit. I know that you can overcome the dreaded ingrained habit of allowing the negative to permeate your mind. It is hard to believe, but Aristotle was in control of habits in his time. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an art, but a habit. The necessary condition for success in changing your mental thoughts from the negative to the positive is persistence. Every time the negative thoughts you are trying to banish reappear, you must have the ability to persist. Persistence really shouldn't be too difficult to achieve. The beauty of the power of positive thinking is that you can practice it anywhere, under any circumstances, and in connection with whatever your career or personal situation. You must be your own instructor because others cannot instruct you. Instructors do not own your thoughts. You must select and earn your own lessons and discover and correct your own mistakes. I recognize how difficult this journey can be. I guarantee that perseverance, persistence, and determination to succeed will overcome any obstacles and lead you to success. Perhaps you have already succeeded on some occasions in banishing your negative thinking. The real question is, have you banished negative thinking forever? Your answer is probably no, but don't despair. The fact is that you have had some previous success, even in a limited way, which shows that you have the ability to practice positive thinking. What a person has accomplished once, they can accomplish again. This point is important because it indicates that complete success in banishing negative thoughts is attainable, despite the difficulties you may encounter. Perseverance in changing your habits of negative thinking to habits of positive thinking is essential. Horizon Sweat Marden made this profound statement about habits that I think is very appropriate when thinking about learning positive thinking. The beginning of a habit is in an invisible thread, but each time we repeat the act we strengthen the thread, and add another strand, until it becomes a great wire and binds us irrevocably, thought and act. Don't be discouraged. Remember that major or minor events will come into your life from time to time, that's understandable. You may even have incidents that look like failures, but they can all be overcome and turned into successes. Remember that every time you recognize the pervasiveness of your negative thoughts, you are learning. Perseverance is essential. There is an old Chinese proverb that says, "Be careful to the end as in the beginning, and you will not fail in your enterprise." To achieve greatness, to gain the power of positive thinking, you must persevere. It is the only possible course of action if you really want to succeed in changing your life through positive thinking. I truly believe in the power of positive thinking and the profound changes it can make in your life. I hope you are beginning to see the great impact positive thinking can have on your life. Your journey can be difficult at times. Always remember that your greatest achievements often come after hard work and perseverance. I have enjoyed our journey together, and I really hope you can capture all the wonder and power of positive thinking. I wish you all the best.